All right, everyone. MTL Sports Podcast, y'all. Episode 84, I believe we're on. We had a lot of action this weekend. We had Sweet 16, Elite 8. We had some NBA. We had some UFL, some the new league XFL, USFL joined together. Some good games there, some not so good ones. Then we're gonna start off with our weekly division breakdown. We're going into the NFC. We get the NFC North. We get the Vikings, Lions, Bears, and who am I forgetting? Oh, the Packers. How did the seasons go, and how will they look going into next season with the off season almost halfway done? Get the draft in a couple weeks here, and then we'll cover the rest of the basketball stuff in the second segment. So, with all that being said, kick it off. NFC North, first division that we're going to go over in the NFC. Last year, we had two teams in this division make the playoffs: Lions and Packers. Bless you.
Thank you.
Lions, made a good run. Packers, they won a playoff game. Most people weren't expecting, but they both had a chance to upgrade this offseason. Have a little bit more upgrading to do in the draft in a couple weeks, but before the draft, we're just going to look at the teams and just grade their season. So let's start with whatever the first team I pull up. NFC North. Let's go with the Lions. 12-5. Their coach is Dan Campbell, right? Hell of a coach. Had a good, I think his second year there in Detroit. What would you grade their season, Lawrence? And how are they looking, going into next season?
I mean, you gotta give their total season they just had an A+. Because no one, including yourself, had them going very far. Especially when you said that Jahmyr Gibbs was a bust pick. You were calling it out. You were saying it was trash. I told you it was really good. It was a really good pick.
No, I did say that.
I think the Lions are. I think they hit everything to a T. I think they had an amazingly great season. I think that's why you got to give them an A+. I mean, they made it to the NFC Championship. A lot of people didn't think they were going to make the playoffs. So, I mean, those are big swings. I know you can probably say, oh, you can't give them an A+ because they didn't get to the Super Bowl. I think that's okay. You didn't get to the Super Bowl. The team literally hadn't won a playoff game in I don't know, 40 years. I don't know, that's maybe a little exaggerating, but it
was a long time.
Was like that. It was pretty much like that, and to go basically win two of them. Yeah, I mean that's a big deal. That's big time.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I agree with you. A+. I had low expectations, especially after the draft. I was saying now it's outlandish stuff, but I was riding low on Detroit, but they had a hell of a season, won the division. They went to the NFC Championship game, had a chance to win, kind of fumbled the bag a little bit, but hey, you learn from mistakes, and I'm sure they're going to learn from this experience. They got a great head coach. They got a good quarterback, Jared Goff. At times plays great, but I'm just going to say he's a good quarterback, and they definitely have good weapons around them. We'll see how things play out in the draft, but I think so far, I'm not hating on any moves that they made. The team overall is still good, so they can just shore up the defense. I know defensive line is a big thing. Got to get Aiden Hutchinson some help. He did sign DJ Reader, but he was out last season. I think he tore his quads, so we'll see how he looks coming back. That's my boy, DJ Reader. The Bengals usually don't sign players, past 30. So we'll see how he holds up in Detroit. But if they can get help on the defensive line, I think they'll be solid for a run next season.
I mean, I agree. I think they have all the capabilities in the world to make a run, to make maybe a little bit of further of a run. I don't think there's anything they really need to go out there and pinpoint attack, fix. I think everything about them is really good. I think at this point, the only thing you need to do is add depth to multiple pieces.
Yep. I can't agree more right there. Next up, guys, we have, let's go with the Packers, the second team to make the playoffs. They made the wild card spot. Played the Cowboys in the wild card game. The score doesn't say, but they beat the brakes off the Cowboys. They stomped them. Dak had some garbage time scores to throw in there, but it was pretty bad, man, and we all saw it. And them boys are going to be them boys, and they let Jordan Love shine. They got a young quarterback, so things are looking bright for them. How would you grade their season?
They're one of those teams. It's like a borderline. I think I'm gonna have to give them a B plus.
Okay.
They wasn't quite an A, but they did have one of the best upsets in the first round. So I guess you can go with A. But I mean, what they've done so far in the off season, though, I mean, I'm liking it. I thought Josh Jacobs' addition, I think it gives a little bit more of a dynamic to the team because AJ Dillon can give you that same. Can you stop? Can give you that same dynamic that you got with man, what was his name? They just let go. Aaron Jones. AJ Dillon's big and beefy just like he is, so yeah, he can do that as well. But I think Josh Jacobs gives him like an elusive factor that they haven't had before in a while. I think Jordan Love had a really good season. I think it'd be good to see how he progresses. I think if anything, this team needs is like basically a receiver, whether tight end or wide receiver, with some veteran leadership. Yeah, we know they're young guns and they're ready to go and they're fast flying and stuff. But sometimes in that 49ers game, it just looked like they just kind of got lost and forgotten, and they weren't making the plays that we were kind of hoping they were going to still come out and make. Maybe they got a little anxious. I don't know how all that goes and not in their head. But I mean, maybe getting a veteran to kind of help you on that side of the ball, just guide the younger guys through tough times they're having on the field, different things like that. A guy who's been there, done that. When I say a veteran, I'm not looking for a guy who's been in the league for a while and not gone anywhere there. I'm talking about a guy who's been like a T. Higgins, but I know they're not going after T. Higgins. I know that's foolish thing to say, but it's just an example because they don't need that kind of a T. Higgins. They don't need T. Higgins. They need a guy who's been on a Super Bowl roster with veteran leadership, who's maybe past his prime, but he'll make you a play when you need to make a play.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the wide receivers, right? They're all young. Christian Watson, Jaden Reed. Romeo Dobbs is young too, right? I think all three of those receivers they took recently in the draft.
Yeah, they're all recent in the draft.
Wicks he came on the scene last season, kind of a speedster just like Watson. But yeah, I mean, for me, it seems like they don't have a definitive number one. They just have a great just core of good young receivers, which is not a bad problem to have. But I think if you want to see Jordan Love progress further, you need to give him a true number one. And maybe they do it through the draft this year. Maybe T. Higgins is probably a pipe dream, but you never know if they come with the right offer. But for me, I think they're good where they're at. I think they just need to see consistent play from Jordan Love, because I think the reason why I'm going to go with a B, I'm not going to go B plus as you, I'm going to go B, is because, Jordan Love had that little lull in the middle of the season where Packers were just like kind of slipping away. They were kind of in and out of it. And a lot of that was due to him. He just was playing bad. And then he got hot at the right moment towards the end, won those last couple of games that they needed to slide into the wild card spot. But, I think he just needs to have a consistent year, just consistently, hey, let's just get in the groove, keep that groove throughout all 17 games. Yeah, you can have a bad game every once in a while, but you can't have Jordan Love was playing bad for like 5-6 games. I mean, you can't you can't do that if you want to be a franchise quarterback. I mean, a game or two is the most that I would, if I was a GM, the most that I would say is acceptable. But a number one receiver wouldn't help. A veteran wouldn't help. Would definitely help. Maybe Tyler Boyd. I don't know if he's been signed yet, but that's a guy that's been there, done that. Probably would stay away from Odell. I think Odell's still out there, but I would probably stay away from him. But you need someone who's nice and quiet, but a veteran who can, like you said, teach the young guys the way and can make a play for you every once in a while. So we'll see what they do. Still a lot of time left in the offseason. Moving on, y'all. From the Packers, we'll go Vikings. We'll save the Bears for last because there's a lot to unpack with the Bears. So let's go with the Vikings here. Now, we said a couple weeks ago after the whole pre-Justin Fields trade and with Kirk Cousins signing to go play in Atlanta, what were the Vikings going to do? Should Justin Jefferson trade out? If you guys haven't seen that video, go ahead and watch it. It's on TikTok. Got a good number of views, but looks like right now they're rolling the dice with Sam Darnold, but obviously, with that trade to get another number one pick, they're most likely going to trade up some and probably try to get one of these top 3 or 4 guys. So let's start with the season first and then move on to how the quarterback room should look. Lawrence, what do you think?
I think the season is a C. I think once Kurt went down, it was downhill from there, and there was no uphill from it. So, you can't say that their whole season. You can't just say like, oh yeah, well, we should have been able to say our season was an A. We did okay without Kurt, but no, like you guys did nothing without Kurt. Like the whole season went to crap. You didn't put anything on the field of any kind of a product. So, yeah, I think it's safe to say that it wasn't a good season. It's one to forget, kind of like other Viking seasons in the past. I think moving forward with what they need to do, there's a whole lot they got to do, especially if you're going to go through a rebuilding with a new quarterback because you're going to get a rookie. There's a lot we're going to have to unpack with this team.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm going to go C as well. Yeah, once Kirk went down, it just went downhill. It honestly went downhill when they let go of Dalvin Cook. Now, you can argue if Dalvin Cook was, past his prime or past the point of good returns, but it went downhill from there. His backup was Maddox, and he didn't perform as well, and they let him go this offseason. So then they signed Aaron Jones. So it just shows you that they don't really have a consistent running back room, which they're going to need if they're going to get a young quarterback. Even just to help with play action, you need to be able to sell the play action. They got the good receivers, they got JJ, they got Jordan Addison, they got Hawkinson, so I'm not worried there, but running game was an issue last season. Now, moving on to quarterback, like I said, they signed Sam Darnold. I guess he's the plan B, but it looks like plan A now is to try to get one of these top 4 guys. We hinted a couple weeks ago that they might, trade into the top 3, 4. Where do you see them trying to make a trade? Which team in the top 5 do you think they'll trade with, and what quarterback do you think they'll get?
I'm not speculating anything about what they're going to do because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I'm not speculating anything about what the Vikings are doing because, the coach seems like he's got an idea, but I think it's all up front. I think this team is. I think you're in an awkward spot. Unfortunately, in my whole opinion, if you weren't gonna get rid of him, which I'm talking about Kirk Cousins, why were you even trying to win games last year at the end of the season? Like, that didn't make any sense at this point in time now looking back on it. Like, it didn't make any sense. All you did was hurt yourself for the future. You got almost nothing back for Kurt. So, that is what it is. So I'm not speculating anything about what this team's going to do because they don't know what they're doing. What I will say is, yeah, they're going to try to go after one of the top 5 guys. Whether or not they're the ones that go after J.J. McCarthy or not, I think whatever team gets J.J. McCarthy is a fool. I don't think he's that good. That's just my 2 cents. But I guess you can say he's good for clutch moments, which is the one thing they've been lacking on for a while now. As a guy to be good in the clutch when they need it, or the primetime game when they need it. But yeah, I think that might be the only thing you can really utilize J.J. McCarthy for.
Okay, I mean they're at pick 11. They traded for the other first round pick. I think is in the 20s. So a lot of speculation there. I think on my end, I think the best case scenario, New England takes the bait and they'll trade with you. But I mean they're kind of in the same boat where they don't know what they want to do. They got Brissett, which is like a good plan B, but I mean they do need a quarterback past Brissett. So that I mean I guess that's a 50-50 chance right there. But the Cardinals at 4, you might need to pony up a little bit more because I think they really want Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that's probably like a last hoorah for Kyler, and we'll get to this down further down the line. But I feel like, hey, you get this man Marvin Harrison Jr. and he still can't put up. I mean, he can put up big numbers, but if he can't win consistently, then there's a problem there. But so we'll see if either one of those teams takes the bait and trades with them. Yeah, I think I mean, it's pretty well known that they like JJ at this point. But me personally, I would probably go after Penix after seeing his pro day. I think you probably could stay at 11 and just get him. But knowing them, then like you said, their front office, their coaching staff, at this point, we can't really fathom or predict what they really want to do. It's all just just a bunch of nonsense. So we'll see. Last team though, we got the Bears. Let's move over to them. So the Bears, they have Carolina's pick this year, which ends up being the first pick of the draft. They already traded Fields. We know that. Traded them to the Steelers. Let's just grade their season first, and then we'll talk about the quarterback situation. So let's grade their season. I'll go ahead and give them. I give them a B because I had them doing. I think I had them winning like 2 games again or something like that. They ended up winning 6? No, they were 7-10. They played well. I think Justin Fields overperformed. In the second half of the season, which to his credit, I thought it was good enough to keep him on the team. But I get where they're coming from. It's pretty rare that you get back-to-back number 1 picks. So you pass on a quarterback the first time, the second time with a supposed generational quarterback in Caleb Williams. I think it's too good to pass up on. So I understand their decision. So I give them a B, but I get the trade an F because they waited too long. If you knew you were going to draft Caleb, or if you were even remotely close to being able to draft Caleb, you should have traded Justin Fields at the trade deadline, but it's not the here nor there.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I mean, if you want me to grade their season overall, I'd give them like a B. I think a B is fair, like you said. Maybe more like a C plus. I think C plus is justifiable. I think that they didn't do a whole lot of things that the fans wanted. I think a lot of the fans wanted Eberflus gone. I thought he did enough to keep his job, but I mean, like overall, it just seemed like for most parts of the season, they just seemed something lackluster that was never there. They would be in games just to throw them or be leading a game, and I can't say too much about the season. It felt like they did a good job getting rid of Mooney. I think Mooney was a waste. I don't think he's that good of a wide receiver. But that's kind of post the season. So, yeah, I'm going to give him a C+. I can't really talk too much about the team because I can't lie to you. I didn't really watch any of their games because I was never I was never really interested in watching most of their games.
I can't blame you there. Especially first half. Some of those games were just god awful to watch. But
Either they got
I
blown
guess
out
one.
the first half, or they had big leads first half and blew them second half. I mean, they were never a team of two halves. They were never a team of one game. They were always a team of two halves.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better. So moving into the draft, they got the number 1 pick. They also have pick 9, I believe.
Somewhere around that.
Yeah, so they have 2 top 10 picks. Number 1, of course, everyone believes Caleb's going 1. Do you think? Oh, Tevin, what's up, buddy?
What's up, fellas? What's going on with y'all?
Good, bro. Good, bro. We're just discussing the Bears. The Bears, they're about to pick number 1. So
Yeah,
I'll hand it off to you two. The Bears, they're about to draft Caleb, or it seems like Caleb, right? So,
yeah.
how fast do you think he'll be able to turn the franchise around? And is it the right pick?
Ooh, I mean, I would say, honestly, I flirted with the idea of Jaden Daniels, personally speaking, but I understand why the Bears are doing it, and they cleared way for him. If he's supposed to be him, it's not a bad pick. Now, on the idea, can it work? I only see it working this way. That they let Eberflus play this out. They know he's not the coach, but they get Caleb and just see what he is. And then if he's really the guy, they spend money on a big name coach next year. I will hope they bring in like Lincoln because he's got some success with him, or somebody who can get the best out of him at the quarterback position. We know EB's not going to get a coaching job, so somebody else other than EB. But yeah, I would like to see him with somebody who can use his talent right. I think Eberflus is lame duck. So I get the pick, and I get they have to make it. I would like to move off of it and get Jaden, if that was me, and give Washington the rights to take their guy, so they can reset their franchise, because that's not a bad thing for them to kind of get that exposure, get the city hype, and they don't need too much because they have McLaurin. They traded back and they got their guys out of there. They're Young and Sweat got the big deal from Chicago, so that was dumb. So I mean, he's going to be their Julius Peppers, and that was just dumb.
Uh,
Chase is going to go out there and he's going to do the Jadeveon Clowney thing and just flow from team to team, and that's fine. Um, Hopefully he can come back to the city, but this team needs to get good and fast because they have good players. Like Terry McLaurin is willing to stay here. That's very few players want to actually stay in DC. They get paid and they leave. So award him. Jaden, I like him, but I think Neighbors is the best player in this draft right now. I'm feeling that way. I looked at Neighbors and I said, yeah, that's a guy. I feel like he's kind of got that Justin Jefferson to him. So somebody needs to get him, and hopefully, if the Bears are going to go Caleb's way, it's either Marvin Harrison or Malik. They need to get one of those guys. Romaduze. The Giants make a little sense, but I don't like that for the Giants. They need to get serious at quarterback because Dayball, he's on the clock.
He's on the
So
clock.
yeah, but yeah,
Lawrence,
that's the long analysis. Sorry, fellas, but yeah,
Yes, sir.
what about you? How do you feel? How fast would Caleb turn the franchise around, and is he the guy that the Bears should pick?
Do you want my honest opinion? I don't think Caleb Williams is all that amazing. I know that might sound like a hater, my little haterades out, but I mean, you saw Baker Mayfield have a good college career during Lincoln Riley's system.
Yeah.
We saw plenty of guys come out of Lincoln Riley's system and had good, college careers. My only problem with the Caleb Williams hype is, he had his clout and his fame and his fortune in college. My questions come in: how much of an ego is he going to have coming into a locker room in which he's going to think he's better than a lot of guys? especially like on a team like the Bears who haven't done great the last couple seasons. How many people get rubbed the wrong way straight out the gate from that kind of attitude, especially since like this guy thinks he's better than me, and I've been in the league for, I don't know, 4 years, and I'm this O lineman. I've been in the league for 4 years, and this guy's just gonna act like he's the absolute shit, and he hasn't proved anything to me. Like, that might rub him the wrong way. Like, is he gonna make Keenan Allen not like him? Like, there's just things that you don't know yet. Because we've never seen this kind of thing before. We've never had a guy come out of college making $10 million before he makes the NFL. Undisclosed $10 million, or no, sorry, disclosed $10 million. Some guys probably made some money in college under the table, but this was straight out, for the whole world to see.
Yeah,
but I mean, the biggest thing for me for Caleb Williams is like, okay, when he played the good teams at USC in college, what was he like? What did he do? Well, he got destroyed by Penix.
Yeah.
But Penix had a better defense than him, so we'll give him that.
This is true.
He got destroyed by Notre Dame. Okay, but Notre Dame got destroyed by Louisville, and Louisville got destroyed by or didn't get destroyed, but Louisville got beat by a Florida State team that didn't have anybody on it. They were down by the third string quarterback, and they still lost. So, I think that was one of the games where you had to like prove something, against Notre Dame. I didn't even know you couldn't even tell he played versus Notre Dame because he was that bad. I just felt like there were certain games in which he had some chance to prove that you're this generational, amazing player, and you didn't really do anything like in those games. You had good stats. So did Daniels from LSU. He had good stats. That's why he won the Heisman. He had good stats. Same thing with Drake May. I mean, I put him and Drake May in the same exact boat. Okay, you guys have good stats, but when it mattered in games and you needed to win these games to elevate your team to the next point, neither one of you did it, and you're the bona fide number one, number two going in the draft. I mean, yeah, you might be really good, but like you may not have that maybe clutch gene like JJ McCarthy does. But you look a lot better on the field than he does.
Law, would you take him at 2? May.
Maybe he can't. I don't know if he can hear you. Lawrence, Tevin just asked, would you take Drake May at 2 if you're the Commanders?
No, I can't hear him. I mean, if it was me, no, I don't think so. I just don't. I don't see it. I think I give a little bit less. I guess I give a little bit more relay to Drake May than I do Caleb, only because Drake May was in a historically bad defense. Like his first year there at UNC, like that was historically a bad defense. Like one of the worst defenses of all of college football. And like they were worse than some teams that had 2 wins the whole season. So, no, I mean, I still don't understand I still understand the dislove or not dislove the dislike towards like a Bo Nix or a Penix. Like you said earlier, like we can get Penix at pick 11, but like, why is Penix a pick 11? The man ran like a real college offense, or a real NFL offense in college. He basically was in the playoffs 2 years in a row almost. Like, well, why does Penix not get love? Like, why do you think Penix can't run your team, but a guy who just put up good numbers against, let's just be fair, like ACC overall is pretty mediocre. They weren't that good. If you look back last year, the Pac-12 was stacked, and Penix destroyed them all. Well, it didn't destroy them all, but he beat them all. So, like, I understand the hype behind Drake May, and I understand why you want to take him second overall. But I don't understand if Penix wasn't there. I'm like, okay, cool, that's fair. That's a fair point. Drake May is the best. He's the second best. But like, I feel like Bo Nix has had more time to learn in college, and has he kind of proved it in big games this year, like in past years, especially his days at Ole Miss. It's like, oh, dude, Bo Nix, like he just crumbles when it matters the most. At least this year at Oregon, the one team that he couldn't beat was Washington. This is the one team that had his number, and apparently that's not a bad team to have a number of, because everyone was writing Oregon off, saying they weren't going to do anything. And next thing you know, they destroy Liberty in the bowl game, which, can you say that was a very good game? I don't know. They didn't have any players, and they still whooped their ass.
Yeah, that was tough to watch. But we'll see. It's pretty likely the Bears will pick Caleb, so we'll
Marquette,
just have to.
How you feel about who's your QB1?
I mean, if you're the Bears, I think at this point you just gotta take Caleb. But
Yeah, you just take Caleb. Like when you traded away Justin Fields, you basically told your whole fan base you're getting Caleb Williams. Like, if you don't get Caleb Williams and you make the Drake May pick instead, and if people are gonna automatically go Mitchell Trubisky, they're gonna be like, "Oh, you're just gonna Trubisky us again."
Yeah,
then
Trubisky came from USC.
Back. Yeah, you might as well trade back if you would do something that bold.
Yeah, so I think they just got to go with the consensus pick, and if they're wrong, then everyone's wrong. But if they're right, then, I mean, they were just doing what everyone told them to do. So,
is he your QB1, though? Do you feel like he's that talented, or do you feel like there's another guy? Like if he was on the board.
I mean, if we're being honest, I think Jaden's right there with him. I know Jaden's stats are inflated because of those couple of, pretty shit teams, but I mean, if he had a defense, you could argue he could have had the season that Joe Burrow did. Joe Burrow, in 2019, that LSU team was stacked, kind of how like this one is, but they had a little bit better defense. You can argue they would have had similar results, but I mean, they just didn't have a defense, so that's why LSU didn't really get a lot of love. But I mean, they're pretty much on the same playing field. To Lawrence's point, Caleb doesn't really have a clutch. I mean, he has like a half clutch gene. Like sometimes I see it, sometimes I don't. You see versus Colorado, how Colorado came back and almost, had a chance in that game when they were they were stomping Colorado first half and then let them come back. So it's tough to say, bro, but we're just going to have to see, man. We're just going to have to see. But coming up next, everyone, we got some basketball to recap. Elite Eight action. Yeah, me and Lawrence are kind of wrong on a lot of those picks we told you guys about last week, so we'll recap all that good stuff coming up next. All right, everyone, we're back. Let's talk a little bit of hoops. Sweet 16, Elite 8 were this weekend, and boy, were we wrong. We made some bold predictions. Some were too bold. We had a few right. So we're just going to recap a little bit. Lawrence, should we start with the Sweet 16 or jump right into Elite 8?
I think we can just jump into Elite 8 because, I mean, for the most part, I think our Sweet 16s weren't bad, except for UNC. I think both of us got dumbfounded with that one.
Yeah, okay, so let's start Saturday. We got the UConn Huskers, which Lawrence made a bold prediction, y'all. If you didn't watch last episode, he said that they were going to lose to Illinois, and that is not the case, y'all.
They hang in there for a little bit.
Yeah.
I think UConn went on a 30-0 run. One of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. Them boys were fast break. It was nothing but fast breaks and cherry picking for like 5 minutes.
Wow.
Lawrence, you made the bold prediction that Illinois was gonna, hang the banner up, but it didn't happen, buddy. What do you think?
Honestly, the biggest thing I gotta say is Shannon. Everyone's saying he's supposed to be an NBA prospect. Everyone's saying NBA this and bro, he didn't even play. Yeah, okay, he played 35 minutes. I don't know what that really says, but he didn't play enough. He didn't play zero. He played 0 minutes. Man, if you're supposed to be, an NBA bound player, you can't just put up 8 points, man. I mean, that was saddest. I mean, that was pathetic. I mean, you got destroyed by Dumask on your own team. He scored 17. Yeah, most of those came in the first half. But like, I mean, you didn't do anything. I mean, they didn't. I don't know. I have no words. Yeah, I give up.
He said I
The
have
team
no
just
word.
sucked, dude. I thought I literally said in the group chat, I was like, yeah, you might as well go lock in UConn spread during the first half when it was a close game because they were they were letting every foul get called against Illinois. Illinois did this. Illinois did that. Illinois did this. Illinois touched him and it's a foul. And they somehow hung in there even though they were getting all the fouls called on them. And UConn could do whatever they wanted, and they were getting no fouls. And then when the refs, the refs refs didn't even have to care anymore. I mean, the game was over. They just completely mollywopped them like it was nothing.
Yeah, Tevin, I don't know if you got a chance to catch this game, but you got any thoughts?
Like, I mean, it does look like who was the man you was just saying? Was that Terrence?
Shannon Jr. Supposedly Illinois' best player. He just didn't show up against UConn.
Yeah, Terrence, yeah.
He's supposed to be a lottery pick.
8 points. Yeah, and that's what I don't like about it's just a college basketball thing in general that I don't like. Is that sometimes teams play a certain way all year, and then that's just how they have to go out. And they don't really highlight. I feel like stars great still to this day and develop college guys ready to go to the pros in terms of scoring. So then get on big stages. He might be a choker, but he might not. 8 points, especially from a guard in today's game, you can't have that. Lottery pick, you can't have that. But is that going to really scare him away from teams like in that lottery? It might not. And so he might get put in a situation he's not ready for. But UConn, I mean, they handle business. Isn't this not like? Do we not understand? This is a program. Like I don't know what we're talking about. We going to Illinois. That's cool, but this UConn, like, come on now.
Yeah, I mean, they're going for the back-to-back. Hasn't been done since.
Oh, also Donovan. Yeah,
07 Florida Gators.
Player 22. That's the double. Yeah, let me give Donovan.
Yeah,
my lottery. Look at his boards. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. No problem, girl.
No, you good. But yeah, they're trying to go back to back. Hasn't been done since those Gators when they had Joakim and forget who else was on that team, but that Florida team is pretty good. But yeah, once that 30-0 run hit Illinois like a train, I was like, yeah, UConn's a real deal. You can lock them in as they're gonna win this whole thing. I don't think anybody's gonna beat them. Because I ain't never seen nothing but fast breaks and cherry picking, and it lasted 5 minutes. I ain't never seen that before, and not in high school, definitely not in the pros, not in college, bro. So that was something else. Moving on to the second game, y'all. We got Clemson and Alabama. Now it's getting a little scary. Clemson was. It was looking like they might make their Cinderella little run there. I think neither team has made it to the Final Four before. So, shout out to Alabama. Both of their programs, right? Football and basketball made the semifinals. So, shout out to them. Lawrence, thoughts about this game?
I didn't really watch this game. I be straight up honest. I was too deflated after the Illinois game to care. And I was too pissed off after UNC blew the most easy win of their life against Alabama because they decided they don't care about defense against a team that doesn't know how to play defense. So that's all you have to do to beat them was play defense, and you just don't play. Now I can honestly say I didn't watch any bit of this game. I was too pissed off. I logged in on Dead by Daylight. I poked some killers and I made them kill me multiple times over just so I could feel something again.
Oh, man. Yeah. UNC definitely let a lot of people down, including myself. Like you said, just got to play defense against a team that doesn't play defense. It's just that simple. And to me, they got ahead of themselves. They were thinking about the Final Four, or they were thinking about the Elite Eight game instead of, what was right in front of them. But I watched this game. Clemson, what I learned from this, Clemson, they could make timely stops, but they ain't make enough. And I think they just didn't have enough offensive firepower. Yeah, they hung in there. I think this is the guy, right? Shefflin that was hitting all the threes. No, it was Gerard. He was hitting threes like crazy, and Alabama, of course, can't play defense, so they were just letting the man shoot threes, kept Clemson in the game. But I think Alabama, Sears, they were talking about how he shot like 1,500 threes during the offseason or something because he was a poor three-point shooter last season. Hey, he showed out last game, 7-14, 23 points. Probably their best player. And then they were just grabbing boards. I mean, they were cleaning up the glass, getting second chance points. That's really what Alabama does, right? Just they're going to put more points on the board than you. You got to try to outscore them. And Clemson just didn't have enough firepower, in my opinion. Tevin, any thoughts about this one?
The center from Clemson, I like his game. I like his game a lot. Number 4, yeah, he can play, and like you said, the one who can outlast will ultimately win. So tipping off to Alabama, then they outlast, and their program is not normally like historically that great. Basketball, it's football, roll tide, I guess, and all that. But it's a football school, so for them to put themselves on the map, you said we're in the Elite Eight, right?
Well, they won their Elite Eight game, so they're going to the Final Four first time.
Final Four. Oh yeah, they definitely putting on. So yeah, can they ride this momentum? Who's their next opponent?
They play UConn.
Nah, I got the Huskies, but yeah, it's been nice, but yeah, sorry. I ain't know that. Sorry, fellas. But yeah, this game was exciting though, and like you said, defense wins championships.
That it does. Moving on to Sunday's games, we got Purdue, Tennessee. Big Edie scored had a 40-point 40 bomb. I didn't know that. I honestly didn't watch this game, y'all. I was at work, so I don't have too many thoughts here. Lawrence, your thoughts on the Purdue? I know you're a little bit salty.
Yeah, I mean, as an Iowa Hawkeyes fan, I don't like Purdue. As an NCAA fan, putting it all aside, I think it was best way to put it. I thought it was a bogus game. I thought, in my opinion, Zach Edey could do whatever he wanted. He wasn't getting fouls called on him. There was points and times in the game where Zach Edey literally ran over people. He's a giant, but he would run over guards like they were like just completely plow through them like they weren't there. He didn't get a foul called on him. Oh, for some reason they didn't get fouls. A guy playing defense like this, putting forearm out there, just pushing them back, no hands or anything, just forearm. They're getting fouls called on him, and it's like, okay, what do you want him to do though? Like, you want him to just sit there and like take it? Like he's like that's not going to happen. One time, one of the Tennessee players, I think it was Ziegler, was sitting in the paint, like standing like this, upright, ready to take a hit, ready to take a charge. Edey ran through him. He got the and one with the blocking. And I never to this day can understand how he got a blocking foul because he was point planted before Edey even took 3 steps towards him. He just knew Edey was going to go down this exact lane, and he still couldn't get the call. I mean, it was just bad. you could, I said it when during the Gonzaga game or after the Gonzaga game. Like it's just been like a destiny run. They wanted Purdue to get to the Final Four. Because they had to make it all okay that the Purdue team, probably one of the best teams we've seen in recent memory. They got to win something. They got to get somewhere. This team can't have done nothing. Some guy explained it the other day. You got to look back at the UVA when they lost to 16 seed. Last year
UMBC.
Last year FDU beat Purdue as a 16 seed. What did UVA do the year after? Oh, they won it all. What else did UVA have that year? Oh, they had the easiest path to the NBA final, or not, sorry, the NCAA final that almost any team could have. You look at this one. Anytime Purdue is in any kind of trouble, it's ref ball. Let's get us out of here. Get us to the next game. So, this has just been a destiny run for Purdue to play UConn in the final. because no offense to GJ Burns, I think you're amazing. I think this is a great run from you. Sorry, not sorry. Your 6'8" frame, even though it's big, I don't know what you want him to do against a 7'4" behemoth Neanderthal.
Man child.
Neanderthal.
He's a man child. This dude is huge. Like you said, he's getting hacked, but also he's just hacking other people, not getting too many offensive fouls called on him. So, I mean, look at the free throws. Like, the dude had 22. He had more than Tennessee did combined.
Yep.
I mean, it is pretty skewed. Very similar to that UVA run, back in 2019. Tevin, do you have any thoughts about this game?
Yeah, I say the guard from Purdue, I like his game number 3. What is his name? That is Braden Smith. Yeah, I like his game. I like his tempo, how he controlled the game, and I mean, I kind of like this game. It was a little physical. They didn't let what is this, the Ely kid you guys are talking about?
Zach Edey, yeah,
Edey. Yeah, he had to earn some of them. It was physical. Tennessee, they was playing. I mean, they didn't go out. I wouldn't feel like their off season. They just feel like they went out, bad. I feel like they could still be playing if they didn't, run up against Purdue. If it's their time, we'll see. If they got to get exposed next round, they'll get exposed. But this was a tough matchup. So I'm interested to see how they bounce back in the next game. Because Tennessee did not go out without a fight, sure.
Yeah, Purdue's moving on to the Final Four, y'all. And so is the Wolfpack. Wolfpack, first Final Four since, I think they said like 83. So they beat Duke. I know a lot of people, especially a lot of, sports personalities were like, oh, Duke get their toughness back. They're going to out-tough NC State. I'm like, bro, they got a freaking defensive lineman as their center. There's no way they're going to out-tough anyone. And, I think NC State beat Duke in the ACC tournament. So I was just like, they already got the number one. So what's for them to say they're not going to do it again? So knowing me, I took the spread and took the plus money. Made out pretty well. Lawrence, how about yourself?
I just took NC State on a hope and a prayer. It worked out.
It worked out.
My philosophy was the whole time, I never thought Duke should have beat Houston. If you knew anything about the Houston Duke game, it was probably one of the saddest things you can see for a guy to get hurt like that in his final NCAA game. But he was the leader of their team, and
the best player, right?
Yeah, he was his best player. Houston looked like they were always around. They were always able to stay within. You knew that second half run, if he was in there, there would have been some different outcomes. It was just unfortunate that their best player got hurt before they could even swing the tide. Anywho, but being all that being said, I just knew that Duke. I've been saying it all year. I never bought into, oh, Duke got their toughness back. I never bought in. You beat up a little baby Vermont team. Okay, cool. You beat up Vermont. All they do is shoot threes. They beat up James Madison. Okay, cool. You beat up a team that they had their starring moment the game before. They had to come back down to earth. Okay, you took advantage of that. It's not like James Madison. Anyone's saying that James Madison's tough. And then Duke, you're also Duke. Oh yeah, you got to take advantage of Houston losing their. I don't want to say heart and soul, but like he's their fifth-year senior. When things get in trouble, he bails them out. He helps them out. He gets guys going. They lost him. You had a baby run to this point. You didn't have to play to the same level of competition that NC State did. NC State was beating up baddies the whole time. Oh yeah, you can say, oh, they beat up Oakland. Okay, Oakland took down Connecticut, bro. They took down Connecticut. There's a
Kentucky.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Kentucky. There's a difference from beating Kentucky and there's a difference from beating Wisconsin. One's a 3 seed, the other one's a 5 seed. The other one looked like a fraud before this game college basketball started. The other one, everyone was having high hopes for. So, Oakland wasn't a slouch. NC State, the way they whooped on Texas Tech the first game, they knew they were about that money. But still, I think the only way that NC State could have had a good time in this Final Four would have been playing Alabama. That's the only way that this would have they could have kept the Cinderella story going. I don't see how NC State could ever beat a UConn team, especially the way they just destroyed Illinois. I don't see how this NC State team can, beat a Purdue, especially when anytime you touch Edie, you're gonna get a foul called on you. DJ Burns is like, I don't know, 6 inches shorter, 7 inches shorter. He's
Probably.
gonna touch Edie, and then Edie's gonna cry to the ref, and then 2 plays later, Edie's gonna get Burns in 2 foul troubles, and it's gonna be a lame game. I just don't like the way that refs call the game for Purdue.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have NC State getting to the Elite Eight, but like I kind of predicted, Marquette got shotgunned, and yeah, I mean Marquette. I thought they would be in a situation playing Duke, but we got NC State instead. But they made no one expected them to be here. They made they just play with house money at this point. You just got to play your game and hope for the best. And like I said, they already beat Duke, so they already kind of know how to figure that bag out right there. So. And if they got their 2 best players going, DJ Horn and DJ Burns, I mean, it's hard to stop them. The big fella, I know they're saying he should go to NFL, bro, but this guy has to have some NBA draft recognition now. He has to be. I mean, I probably wouldn't take him in the lottery, but late first rounder, early second, like he reminds me of a big Baby Davis, but can pass the ball. This kid can play, man, and he put the team on his back along with Horn, out tough Duke. Like you said, Lawrence, I didn't believe for a second that Duke refound their toughness, and they were going to outpunk NC State, especially for what happened in the ACC tournament. There's just no way. Filipowski, he's kind of soft. I didn't believe in him. I mean, look at the results. He had 11 points and 9 rebounds. I mean, he can't handle big boy DJ Burns. But like you said, Edie is going to get them into foul trouble, and it's going to be kind of a shit show of a game. It's going to be hard to watch. DJ Burns is already kind of foul prone. I think he's played a couple of these games in foul trouble early. So if he gets 2 quick fouls, bro, it's a wrap. Purdue might win by like UConn numbers, 15-20. But if Burns can control himself, kind of stay away from Edie, don't foul too much, they might have a chance to cover the spread. They're not going to win this game. They're not going to win the next game. Tevin, any thoughts about this last game right here?
Fellas, have some faith. I like DJ's game. That could work. You see, Clemson, they did it a little bit, but I feel like they didn't challenge Edie enough. If you're going to, the thing about when people started to expose James Harden as like, yeah, all right, now he doesn't get those, the fouls that he gets are not as egregious as they used to be. And I feel like that's because people attacked him. You have to consistently attack him. You have to have a mindset of attacking him. That's why they had to have Russ on his team. He's one of those people that will attack. He'll attack pretty much anybody in the league. So you got to have dogs that'll do that. And this Burns, he's putting feet, his hands, shoulders, buckets on him. I mean, he hit him floaters. He's too big to be hitting floaters. So, I mean, I don't know if Edie can. He's going to be eye to eye with a grown man. So this should be fun. Now, that'll be fun. I think just watch. Let's see at halftime. But if it's close at halftime, you know my rule. Anything can happen. If it's close at halftime, just watch. Anything can happen. Now, Purdue blitz them with them guards because I didn't like the guard play. I mean, it's just dumbed down to DJ. If those guards can make it, they'll be the ones that'll make the game interesting. If they can make the passes and plays outside of DJ, if they step up and the Wolfpack are, don't like I said, don't let them hang around. Don't let a team that you are supposed to be better than hang around. And if you got the refs in your side, I'm saying you need to be attacking early. Then get guys like DJ out of the game, get those guards frustrated. That'll be the best game for them, so that they can just coast out of there and let them kind of eat, kind of rock them slow to sleep. But if you keep them awake, they will play. If DJ gives you the in and out, the floater, like that's the last thing you need in momentum. So I'm just saying, have some faith, fellas. It might be fun.
What little faith I have is them covering the spread. I don't think this is gonna be a close one.
That man said
I
you
think
cooked it up a script. Come on now.
I think, and we'll go with this later in the week, but yeah, I think Purdue's gonna waltz their way right into the championship game here. But if you're an NC State fan, it's been a good run. Hey, go make it to the Final Four when you're not supposed to is always.
Yo.
Hey, we can. I think they hang those banners. I think Mason, don't we have a banner for the Final Four?
Yep.
From forever ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they still talk about that thing. Come on.
Yeah, come on now. So this is something you can brag about for the next couple of incoming freshman classes and whatnot. This is something to boost admissions, give you some more money. But that's all the games, fellas, from this past weekend. I think that's all we got for today. Any final thoughts, fellas, before we head on out of here?
No, I mean the only final thoughts I kind of had were, how impractical it is to make a Final Four run. They said that Tennessee has made 26 NCAA tournament appearances, and Tennessee has never made it to a Final Four.
It's tough, man. Single elimination is tough.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Tevin?
Man, yeah, that single elimination is always tough. I would say you got to capture your momentum early, and you got to have that a good mixture of veteran leadership and just flat out ballers. Like the guys that lottery picks, all right, and they got to perform. This is a good thing about the tournament for basketball that I feel like football is now just coming around to, that you do need to see these guys in some kind of quote unquote playoff game against teams they are not familiar with, out of conference games, out of multiple states like LSU and Iowa playing right now. That's a good thing for college basketball to see. Sometimes you don't really get to see that in football. Now we're getting more of that. We're seeing Michigan versus Alabama. We're seeing Washington versus Texas. That's good ball to really see if SEC football is going to dominate, or ACC, or whoever the case may be. We know it's not going to be the Pac whatever anymore, but that's sayonara. But it's good for hoops. It's basketball, and it's madness for a reason. Anybody could really mess around, and like Mason could go there. So anything can happen. Really. Yeah.
Yes. Speaking of Mason, our best player, what's the guy's name, Lawrence? He's in the transfer portal. Hall.
I didn't know he was in the transfer portal. I thought he just went out for the draft.
It's breaking news.
Hall tweeted that he's gonna enter the draft, but I think he has until May to pull out. But he's also going to be transferring if he doesn't get draft interest. So it's sad to see if you're a Mason fan, but
I don't know. He
next man up.
And he had one of the biggest blunders of all time that I think I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, that cost us, man. I mean, just think about it. That really cost us there.
Mm-hmm. Also, I don't know. He seemed like he took a lot of shots, and a lot of them weren't that great of shots. He seemed like he was more of a volume output, get a lot of points that way, kind of go getter, instead of taking sure thing points. I think that I know we got one guy from Siena. I know Siena wasn't that amazing this year, but I know we got a guy from Siena, one of their star players, older guy. So I think moving forward, there might be some life.
Maddox is coming back. Koji, I think, is still gonna be back. So we'll see how it looks next season, fellas. Like I said, you got that transfer coming in. A couple of seniors are leaving, so it's just next man up mentality. Coach Ken, he'll have him right. I ain't too worried.
Hey, last thing, fellas.
I ain't
I
worried.
was a hater of. Oh, I thought she had more, but I was a hater of Caitlin Clark. But she got 19 before the half. I was up, so and looks like Angel is down with a little ankle injury. So, but she had 13. She was balling, so that's not cool. But we'll see. Looks like Caitlin might walk home with this one.
Yeah, that game's going on right now, guys. Of course, this is going to come out on Tuesday, so hopefully LSU pulls out. But I mean, Iowa going advancing would be great as well. Last thing for me, fellas, no episode Wednesday. We'll probably might have to record on Thursday or Friday, but going to go see the GOAT. Going to see GOAT James on Wednesday in DC. You already know your boy had to show up, show some support. It's gonna be one hell of a game. Actually, not. I think Kuzma's gonna be out, but gotta see the
How
GOAT
many
in
you go for?
person. I say Late GOAT gonna probably drop 30, 10 assists, probably 8 rebounds. He'll probably
I
flip for trip
feel like
dub.
he likes playing. Yeah, he like doing stuff like that in DC on the low key. Yeah, might as well. You said it's on a Thursday.
They play Wednesday. Kuzma was out last game. He was out last night. I was at the game last night. He didn't play. So he's probably gonna be questionable. The Lakers do need a win, pretty much win out if they want to have a shot to get out the 9th spot.
Yeah.
I think they can't make it to 6, but I think they have a good chance of making it to the 7th spot, especially with the Suns and Kings kind of struggling right now. Malik Monk is out. I think he's out for season. So Kings are kind of shaky right now. So hopefully Lakers can make a little run here.
Yeah. Yeah. If they're like the March Madness of the NBA. Like if they get in there, they can do what they did last year and mess around and get into the Western Conference Finals. But I feel like the West has a lot of mediocre teams with a lot of talent, so that should be really fun. Seeing what's going to happen with those play-in tournaments and playoffs.
Yeah, bro, I can't wait. April 16th is can't come faster. But with all that being said, y'all, episode 84, MTL Sports Podcast. We'll catch you later this week. I'll just post it on Twitter whenever the next episode is going to come out. But other than that, y'all, we're going to head on out. Have a good one. Thank you for listening, watching on YouTube, Spotify, all that good stuff. And we're out. Peace.
Peace.